Future Proof is sponsored by Equipping Young Adults for Life, inspiring student resilience, championing hope.
Hello and welcome to Future Proof. Thank you so much for joining me, Sarah Hopwood, as I continue these programs looking at how we can inspire people to maybe hone some skills, maybe embrace some skills, or maybe revise skills that you used to know that maybe I can sort of tweak the memory and get you back using them again. But it's all about future proofing. And welcome to the den here. This is the film studio in Shoreham, and I've introduced a little bit of different lighting. I've been shopping on Marketplace on Facebook, so if you haven't already dived in and had a look there, then can I recommend it? It's amazing some of the ideas that you can get to purchase. But if you're looking for gift ideas, sometimes you see something there and you think, actually I'm not going to buy it here, but it would be a great gift idea for somebody else, so I commend that to you. If you've been following the program, then you'll know that I have been working through some negative mindsets, and I've been working down the list. I've been ticking them off, and the one today is I'm looking at I don't deserve good things. So it's a negative mindset where we're possibly caught up with beating ourselves up. We're feeling as if we don't deserve things, either because we've never had it, so I don't deserve it, why should I have it? Or indeed somebody has said something to you, perhaps often it's in the formative years when you were younger, and something unkind that has just led you to this internal belief that you don't deserve something. And we must be careful that we don't think that we're just talking about material things here. Yes, it can be material things, but it could equally be something like, I don't deserve a sense of peace, I don't deserve contentment, I don't deserve a sense of feeling fulfilled. There's all sorts of belief systems that we have that can really hold us back, and anything that's negative generally will hold us back one way or another. Some can motivate us to begin with. I don't deserve it, so therefore I'm gonna go and do something, and maybe it could be motivational if you're working towards, for example, a sense of deserving, but equally it really can hinder you. I'm calling this my den because I feel as if I'm in a cave down here, but I'm using a couple of other cameras too, so you'll see some light changes as I've got different lighting in the studio. But I'm just doing it as a bit of something different through lockdown, and yeah, just give it a bit of variation, I suppose. So I want to look at mindsets that or continue mindsets that don't serve us, and I don't deserve, to me, the I don't deserve sentence is either something we are repeating that is being said to us, or it is a self-affirmation that we are repeating to ourselves. 90% of the conversations that we have are always with ourselves, and also 90% of the conversations that we have were the same conversations that we had with ourselves yesterday. So what we tend to do is repeat dialogue the whole time through our minds, and the more we repeat it, the more we then move it from perhaps an idea, someone else's opinion, something external, and before we know where we are, we've repeated it so much that our psyche has now embraced it as a truth, as something that is real, where in fact the whole thing wasn't true to begin with, and all we've done is just engage with it, and now it's manifesting in our behaviours because we've now taken it as a truth, which quite frankly is often a load of rubbish. So be careful what you say to yourself, but also it's all very well to say stop saying that you don't deserve something. Of course you do, and change your internal dialogue, the internal conversations you're having with yourself, or I could just say stop doing it. And we all know it's not as easy as that. So I want to look at some things that can help us change how we feel about what we deserve and what we don't deserve. And the first thing that I feel led to talk about is actually the importance of decisions. And we've had many discussions in our family about decisions. And it was Roosevelt who said about when we have a decision, we can either make a good decision, which is the right decision, a bad decision, which is the wrong decision, or no decision at all, which is the worst decision. And most decisions are close calls. They're very, very close calls. Yes, we do sometimes have a very obvious decision, when the sea is very, very choppy and they're forecasting a hurricane. Do I get on that ferry and go? So of course you do. It's an obvious decision not to. But there are many, many, many decisions that are very, very, very close calls, and that can stop us. So when we are fearful, and we have someone in our family who's like it, and actually I was working with someone a while back, and they were just saying to me, my greatest fear is making the wrong decision. And the whole time they're trying to juggle and keep as many feet in as many camps as possible, just in case things go wrong. And so it's all through a fear of making the wrong decision. And when we do that, we cannot be all things to all people. And when we keep too many feet in too many, or fingers in too many pies, it creates a sense of confusion, not just to ourselves, but also to people watching us. And if you're in the sales market, if you're in a business and you're trying to sell something, then a great saying is people cannot buy confusion. And the more we dilute, or the more we diversify, if we're not careful, we will dilute the brand. And to do just one thing very, very well and be the person known to do that one thing is a much stronger case in the marketplace than trying to be what we call all things to all people. So be very, very careful of that. But also understand fear. Fear is an acronym for false expectations appearing real. It hasn't happened yet. If you're making a decision, if you intuitively feel that it's right, then always double check it against facts of some kind. If you don't have facts, then at least get a second or third opinion before you jump. I would suggest intuition on its own is not, I would say 99% of the time, it is not always a wise thing to do, because intuition can, yes, it be caught up with gut feeling. I understand the power of gut feeling. And sometimes if there's no choice, then sometimes you can have a gut feeling to suddenly do something, and it can be the right thing. In an emergency situation, I actually had it driving once, and I couldn't see properly. It was all dusky, and I went round a corner, and suddenly a car was on the other side of the road coming towards me, and intuitively I took evasive action, and I actually think it saved my life. So I'm not saying there's not a place for it, but as a rule of thumb, I would always say intuition is a backup tool that you use once you have looked at the facts, or once you have looked at all the pros and cons associated with the decision that you're going to make. If you are then still fearful, even though the logical brain and possibly some tools in the second half, I'm going to take you through something called a decision matrix, which will really help you in your decision making. But if you feel fearful, but you are quite sure it's the right thing to do, then there's a huge case for doing it in fear. Fear is there for us to protect us. It's from the animal kingdom. If you hear a noise in the forest and you're not sure what it is, you can become fearful, you become alert, the adrenaline is pumping, which is preparing us for fight, flight or freeze. But fear is not there as an intuitive tool, if you like, to say, well, as I feel frightened, as I feel fearful, that means that I shouldn't do it. And I would say that is not a statement of truth. there is a case that you have been put on alert, your body has gone into fear to protect you, but your logical brain, your weighing up, weighing is a big word, your weighing up has actually given you some sense of security. So I would suggest then that you be bold and brave and that you do it anyway. And, take courage, be ambitious, be hungry, if you like, to move in some way or another, but never think that to move you have to take giant steps. Usually the most profound results come from the smallest of decisions, the smallest of steps. If you think of railway lines, just imagine if I tweaked a railway line, half a centimetre slightly out, and then you travel down that path, then that railway line would actually widen and become quite far apart further down the line. So in other words, the change from the smallest tweak can be very, very profound. So don't beat yourself up. Don't think that things are just too hard and you don't deserve stuff. You do deserve stuff. Use some tools to make good decisions, and I'm going to take you through another tool this after the break, the decision matrix.